Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Test Ickles. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Test Ickles. Test Ickles. Testing, test Ickles. Test Ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 739 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Welcome to Boston, Mass, everyone. Welcome to the Gain Train. Welcome to episode 739 on the Quadcast, on the Quad Sleazy, on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember, fam, if you're not following me over on the Twitch piece, make sure you do. Twitch.tv/Swolenormous. You can call it Mannormous if you want to, but Swolenormous will do. Swolenormous will do just fine. Swolenormous will do just fine. What's going on, fam? What's going on? Instagram, just tune in, say what up when you come in. Eric Dean and Brianna on the Facebook, Ujata Beaches. And those of you that are tuning in on YouTube, make sure you say where you're from and float an emoji with what you're doing right now. So if you are, remember I said, right? If you are in Canada and you're pooping, you got to put Canada and you got to put a poop emoji. So hello from London, King Swolio. Hello, the Chipple Swolecast, the Swole Nip, the Swole Hard and Chip Nips. What's going on, team? What's the good word? Today we're going to talk about some squats, going to rage on some squats because of some shit that I've been seeing in the gym. We'll talk about the quarter rep kings out there, and that the quarter rep, that should be the name of the episode actually, is that the quarter rep is the new half rep. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So how many of you are hot here in South Florida driving? South Florida is nasty. I said yesterday, South Florida is like a fat Italian guy that works in a deli. It's like the moisture around his taint between his ball sack and his asshole. It's fucking just like moist. It's moist and funky. And I said last night, I said this on the show last night. I said that there were like these bugs, these, I guess, fluorescent. I don't know. These lights aren't fluorescent. It was an LED light because I have umbrellas. And sometimes when I do the show at night, I have some light bulbs, some LED light bulbs, but I like to get an umbrella because it'll pixelate less and I'll get some more lighting, of course, at night. And they love that shit. They love that shit. These bugs just fucking love LED lights. And you know that. You have the lights on at night, you have a porch, and you live in the woods somewhere. So they were all over that shit. And they were coming in I don't know where they were coming in from. Those things were literally, it must be not mating season, but because this happened around this time last year. Only one time, and then it went away. Only one time, and then it went away. So it must be like the eggs are hatching because some of them were small, and then some of them were bigger. So it must be like the spring, the winter coming into the spring, and just the eggs are hatching. So it was moist. It was probably like they hatch. It's probably what the insect does. The first storm, because it just rained like crazy and flooded everything. And so it must be that the eggs are hatching and life starts anew in the spring. Oh, how fucking romantic. Well, I killed all of them. So any vegans out there upset that I killed some bugs? Yeah, I destroyed them. I fucking smashed them all. Sons of bitches. Virginia, Oklahoma. You're driving Virginia to Oklahoma. Where's that? What is that? Eastern Kentucky. Let's see. Connecticut. Who else we got here? Canada. Someone's like, Canada. Where is Canada? Does Canada exist? Is Canada still there? Oh, it is? Oh, no shit. No shit. I like that. Shave your fucking head. No. We have our first troll ever on the show. No, anyways, let's see what's going on here. Let's see who else is here. London, we got the Chipple Swolecast, of course. Let's talk squats today. So again, those of you that are listening on the podcast on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts, remember every episode you can catch on the podcast. So if you're unable to catch it live, make sure you do so on SoundCloud or Apple Podcasts. You can catch up on all the other episodes. And if it's leg day, this is for you, fam. If it's leg day, this is for you. How in the fuck and what the fuck is going on with leg training in the gym? I don't know what goes on. And I think it's the same at every gym. I think it's the same at every gym in every country, everywhere, because social media, Facebook, the state of the internet as it is, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, it's the same, because you see the same young kids that pretend like they're fitness experts and post all these shitty glute workouts and shitty squat forms and all this fucking shit, and it spreads like wildfire. So it almost doesn't matter what country you're in. Shitty form prevails everywhere. And that's because I live in South Florida, and South Florida is a highly transient area. You get a lot of people. Most of the people here are from somewhere else. They're from Eastern Europe. And those guys, Russians, Eastern Europe, they do things that I've never seen. And there's in terms of, I don't understand where people get these ideas to do these exercises, period, let alone just just come up with it. Sometimes I see this form in the gym where I see these exercises done on machines. I've seen back rows done on chest machines. I've seen things that I could not, if I sat in a room with with this machine for a week and had to think of every different way I can lift with it, well, I probably would figure it out. But some of this stuff, literally, you have to try to think, okay, how could I do this as incorrectly as possible? As incorrectly as possible. This way, cool. I will do 5 sets of that. I see some crazy shit. And what I'm noticing lately, more than ever, is that leg day, not that people are skipping leg day, but more people are doing legs. More people are doing legs. I think the meme got popular enough, fam. I think the friends don't let friends skip leg day. I think more and more people, I think enough people talk about skipping leg day is that a lot of people are actually doing leg day now. But the problem with the leg day is that the form is getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. The quarter rep is now the new half rep. It used to point across the gym and yell and be like, half repa, and shun them. You would just shun, just like Game of Thrones, shame, shame, shame. And you would shame people for partial repetitions. Now, I'm seeing people throw on 2 plates. I saw this guy and a girl working out at the gym yesterday and threw on 2 plates on each side. I'm like, I can't wait to see this girl do good form at 225." And lo and behold, it was a quarter rep. It wasn't even a half fucking rep. And I'm sitting there. What was I doing? What was I doing? Oh, I was doing dips. I was doing chest dips. And I'm looking and I'm watching this. I'm thinking, what the fuck are either of them thinking? Because they were in decent shape. And when I say decent shape, I mean exactly that. They were in decent shape. Like they weren't completely out of shape and they were in decent shape. They looked like they exercised. They didn't have amazing physiques, but very few people do, especially just average people. You look at the gym. And with this kind of form, I could see why they wouldn't have better physiques because the form was atrocious. The form was atrocious. And there is some logic or some strategy to doing partial repetitions. Doing partial repetitions is a strategy. Doing partial repetitions is a form of training. I do partial repetitions. I do pulse reps. I do partial reps. I do, half reps and things like that. But when it's used in context, but this wasn't context. This was literally, I'm putting on too much weight and I can't handle it. So I'm not going to go down all the way. And that's inappropriate because you're going to get hurt that way and waste your time. Now, if you're doing partial deadlifts, those of you that are aware of that, partial deadlifts is a great way to increase strength, grip strength, and good core integrity, include strength and train the strongest range of your deadlift in order to overload certain muscles to help you. You could either do it to, prevent back injury or reoccurrence if you have limited range of motion, but also increase your overall strength and capacity and work capacity for every lift, including deadlifts, full deadlifts. And that has a purpose, but that's part of training. And that's a difference a lot of times between exercise and training. Exercise and training. And I call a lot of group exercise classes, they're not called group training classes. They're called group exercise classes because they're groups exercising together. There's no training, there's no progressive program. And that's one of the problems with things like we have like CrossFit where it's just group exercise, and as much as they want to say there's some programming revolving around it, there rarely ever is, and it's shitty if that. And any kind of group work, you're putting 15, 20 plus people in a room. You can't train them all. You can't train them. You give them exercises. They leave sweaty. They sweat. They exhaust themselves. And each of these things have their place. Group exercise classes have their place, as well as I guess CrossFit has its place. These are all tools. And believe it or not, a lot of people that do this kind of stuff are tools themselves. Get it? Dun-ch. See what I did there? But these are all tools in your tool shed, in your toolbox. But a lot of people use these tools too much. Okay. Um, so, and yeah, Randy Martin on Facebook. People care too much about loading 500 pounds on a squat machine. And I've been doing a lot of messages. I've been getting a lot of messages on Facebook and on Instagram asking about form and trying to lose weight. Most people, as always, want to lose weight around their stomach and arms and so forth. But I've been getting a lot of questions about, well, my legs are strong, so I need to work more on upper body. I'm like, well, what do you think makes your legs strong? And they talk about how much they can leg press, this, that, and the other, but their friends can squat and lunge and do stuff more than them. I'm like, well, your friends can squat more than you because you don't fucking squat. Your friends can squat more because they fucking squat. And squatting and doing free weight exercise and free body weight exercises is the best way to build muscle in your legs and overall. It's the best way. And most people want to strengthen their core. And I got a question on Instagram, what's a good way to get stronger on your squats? By doing squats, by doing glute activation, by doing heavy hip bridges, by doing deadlifts, by doing everything to strengthen the core and do free weight. Now, when I say core, that doesn't mean crunches because that's not the core. Believe it or not, most people do crunches and think that's the core. The core is the glutes. The core is the glutes. The core is the intrinsic stabilizers in the abdominal region. The rectus abdominis plays a part in it. The lumbar fascial tissue plays a part in it, but everyone's trying to do back extensions to strengthen their back. And that's actually making the problem worse because that's probably one of the worst exercises you could do. I don't care what anyone fucking says. It's just you're trying to rip your back apart. And most people shouldn't do anything anything along the lines of a back hyperextension. That's usually just that's a fucking destroyed exercise. Everyone does it wrong for the most part, and it's just there's no risk and reward. It is not necessary to do at all, at all. Glute activation has popped my peach. Fuck yeah, it will. Michael, rack pulls is a form of half reps. Yes, yep, exactly. That's what I just said. So there are certain ways, and isometrics are great, and negatives. You can call a negative for like a pull up or a push up negative. You can call a negative a partial rep because essentially it's half a repetition. It's the eccentric, but that's phenomenal. So it depends on how you define it. First off, it depends on how you define what a partial rep is, but then it also depends on how it's used. Of course, is it done properly? Is it done in as part of a training protocol? And more often than not, it's not part of any logical protocol. It's just done. It's done to be done. And when you start loading on weight, when you start loading on weight for the sake of doing more weight, that's when you have an injury. And what do I always say? What do I always say about injuries? That's the number one way you're going to get yourself set back. How many of you have had an injury that was preventable? Most people, most injuries are preventable. Thanks, Drifter. I appreciate it. Most people have injuries that are preventable. Most injuries are preventable. I mean, come on. How many times have you gotten hurt and thought to yourself, God, what a fucking idiot? Like literally you're thinking, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I do one more set? It didn't feel good from the beginning. You're so stupid. If only I took off, if only I didn't do that one extra rep. If only I didn't do it that way, man, I shouldn't have done that. I wasn't ready. I didn't stretch. Everyone, right? You get hurt, let's say the last run snowboarding or skiing. Yeah, you're like, oh man, I fucking take responsibility. It's your fault. You shouldn't have gone that last one, the last run when it was getting dark and you were tired and dehydrated, right? Why take the extra risk? Me being stupid pulled my lower back. Me. Yeah. So like what have you done? What have you done that you regret? I mean, the list goes on, especially with an injury. You always look back and think, man, I didn't have to get hurt. I didn't have to get hurt doing that. I just got hurt because I was stupid. And I didn't pay attention, right? I didn't pay attention. I wasn't being safe. I wasn't being safe. And I wasn't looking out for myself. I wasn't looking out for not getting injured. I wasn't looking out for my own best interest. Let's see. How do you get a glute workout during love making? The same way you would get a glute workout when you're in the gym, which is kind of like love making. You do hip thrusts. You do weighted barbell hip bridges. They're great. Frog bridges, single leg. You can do single leg squats, not pistols, but single leg squats. Nice attempt to troll, but see, it doesn't even phase the daily swole. We don't care. We don't care about the trolling. Lacey Romero, I'm in the middle of a squat challenge for the month. By the end, it's 300. I hope I make it, but it's getting a hell of a lot easier. I don't know what that means. What the hell's a squat challenge? I hate challenges. Fitness challenges should all fucking burn in the hell of the fitness afterlife. I hate challenges. I mean, people need a fucking challenge to actually get off their butt and do something. It's like, do it because you need to do it. Everyone's got to get the right reason because what happens after the challenge ends? I've been meaning to do an episode. I've done videos on it. I've been meaning to do an episode on challenges and rage on them. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people, but then you get the shitty 30-day before and afters that look the same, but the person's wearing. I saw one yesterday. It's a before and after, a 30-day whatever challenge. And everyone in the comments like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to do this challenge." And the fit challenge. And this woman, the picture, the first one, she was wearing underwear that covered most of her butt and it was like dark lighting. The next one was great lighting. She had not a thong, but like it was wedged up her butt. And she looked fucking the same. It was better lighting and and just underwear that showed more of her glute shape. She looked the same. And everyone's like, "Man, whoa, 30 days. 30 days of what? You look the same. You maybe lost like a couple pounds of water weight or something like great. You worked out for 30 days, but it looked the same and it wasn't even comparable because the lighting was garbage." It's so hard. It's so hard for the average person to do a good before and after. It's really hard to do a good before and after. Most people think, "Oh, you just take a picture." It's not that simple. It's not that simple. That's why you can never trust unless it's really obvious. Unless it's really obvious, you can't trust a before and after because it comes down to everything from the time of day the picture was taken, what they were wearing, the distance from the camera, the lighting, everything makes a huge difference. Everything makes a huge difference when you do a before and after. So it's very hard when you're wearing different clothes and you're with a different background and you're smiling in one and your hair is done or your face cleared up because 30 days before you had acne and now because you're eating better, your face cleared up. It doesn't mean your whole body transformed, but you just look better. It's like taking the same person, one person, you look homeless, you're all scraggly and unkempt, and then you put them in a suit and a tie, and wow, they're going to look a lot more sharp. It's the same person. They didn't lose any weight. They're wearing different clothes. They're with different lighting. They're with a different, perspective. So a lot of these challenges do these before and after pictures, and they're the same fucking person, or they barely change, and they give people this false idea of what they can achieve because it's not. It's promoting shit that didn't even change. And trust me, you can do a lot of shit. Come on, we all have phones now. 10 years ago, you could call them like Photoshop and Photoshop this, but it's not even Photoshop anymore. The phones themselves do it. You swipe right and take a filter, and all of a sudden you look ripped. Like I'll take a picture. I usually don't use a lot of filters. When I'm doing these like fun like urinal selfies on Instagram, but you swipe over and you look different with every single filter. Sometimes your abs pop more. Sometimes it's more smooth. Shadows, contrast, definition, saturation, brightness, all those different things that you can alter. Man, especially if you know what you're doing, you can change the whole way a picture looks. And then if you wanted to use Photoshop, all of a sudden the sky's the limit. Depends on how good you are. But you can alter everything. You can alter everything. So anyway, it's just one of those things that you have to keep in mind when it comes to the before and afters. But the challenge of this episode is to squat like a squat, but squat right. So I don't care if you're doing 300 squats, good for you for exercising. But what happens after that challenge? How good are all those 300 reps? Are you lifting weights? I mean, what, 20 squats a day? Is that like the challenge? And after 30 days or 10 squats a day, after 30 days, you have 300 squats or 300 squats a day for 30 days. That's ridiculous. You don't need 300 squats a day. That's crazy. People are going to get fucking hurt because here's the thing. You can squat. And here's my point in bringing up the whole conversation about challenges or squats. I'm sure that's probably what it is, right? The 300 squat challenge. And I guess I am knocking it, but not because I don't like you or something. So don't take it personally, of course. But let's assume that the 300 squat challenge is 300 squats a day. That's probably what it is. 10 squats a day is nothing. And it's not 30 squats a day for 10 days. It's probably 300 squats a day for 30 days, right? That's probably what it is if it's a 300 squat challenge. So you're doing 10 squats or 20 squats in the morning, first thing, then you're doing 20 more squats, 20 more squats. What I have a problem with that, I'm just going to assume that's what it is because I know there are challenges out there like that. So let's just create this fake challenge. If that's not what it is, this is the kind of challenge I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 squat challenge or a 300 squat challenge or a 1,000 squat challenge. If your squat sucks, if your squat sucks, I don't care how many fucking reps you do. It's not, well, oh, at least they're moving. No, at least you're grinding the joints together. At least you're causing shear stress. At least you're putting pressure on the ACL. At least you're putting pressure on L4 and L5 and S1 and all that shit. One squat, it doesn't take weight. That is the big misconception. It doesn't take resistance to get hurt during a squat. It takes wrong form at the right moment with the right torque and the right speed and all that stuff. So you don't have to be lifting heavy weight. How many of you have hurt yourselves bending over and picking something up off the ground or reaching back behind, for example, let's say the seat of the car, you go to turn your neck really fast and oh, you tweak your neck. I did that years ago. You just move really quickly and all of a sudden you strain your neck or something stupid like that. You're like, fuck, why I hurt my neck turning my fucking head. And then you get into yoga and you solve all those problems. But if you're not doing a squat correctly, it doesn't matter how many you're doing. A bad squat's a bad squat. You don't need a lot of extra weight. And second off, you don't need a lot of weight because usually you're doing these kind of challenges because you're overweight to begin with. And if you're trying to lose weight, then you're really in trouble. And then you're really causing potential damage because you are you're carrying around extra body weight and you're putting your body under duress over and over again 300 times a day. 300 fucking times a day. 300 times a day. Get the fuck out of here with bad form. And bad form comes from tight ankles. It comes from improper muscular balance around the knees, around the hips, around everywhere. So you're doing partial reps. You're probably squatting down quarter repetitions or even parallel. It's still not far enough because if you go any lower, then you have even worse form. And then your back rounds, you're putting pressure. So it's going to tire you out, but it's not good for you more often than not. And most of these challenges are done by people that have bad posture, bad static posture, and poor dynamic posture. And that's what most fitness things do. That's what most programs deal with people that are out of shape that need to get back into it. And what happens is people do these things like water. They buy this challenge, they put money into this, they put money into that. And I'm saying, you know what? You know what? I'm going to create something myself that isn't a fucking stupid 1 month off challenge that doesn't leave people in the dust or looking for the next challenge because they haven't learned a damn fucking thing. Are you a robot? Are you a bouncing ball? You're just going to do up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like, no, fuck no. It's like, fuck no. Do it right. Get that form going. So for any of you, and that just goes for anyone, that's not specifically to you, Lacey. I'm just talking in general, but make sure you're doing it right. Make sure you're doing it right. I don't care how much weight is involved. It's all about each repetition needs to be on point because guess what happens when you start loading on weight? The bad form comes out and then it gets even worse and then you have some real problems. Uh, Definitely not taking it personally. I love corrective criticism. I need it. Yeah, I'm not even corrective. I mean, you could be doing amazing squats just 300 times a day because you felt like it. You could be a pro for all I know. I just heard the word challenge and I've been meaning to make a video and rant about that for a while. So I guess I just decided to take the opportunity now to do that. I just don't like the word challenge. It means end. It means we're doing this for this time period and then it's over. It doesn't have a purpose than just to get some money out of people or do something like that along those lines. That's usually what they put this money in, $1,000 prize to the winner. Eh, eh, meh, meh. I like that before. What was it? The rest of your life challenge. Is it okay to do a lot of running to lose weight? I would never recommend that. I don't recommend running in general because most people have bad form and heel to toe running is not good for the body. So you do not if no, if you're overweight, you should not be running. Believe it or not, because you're carrying on extra weight. So your gait and your movement pattern is wrong and not balanced. And you're running, which means you are uh, which means you're pounding extra body weight. You're jamming extra body weight on your joints over and over and over again. So that's high risk for injury. My squats suck. My hip mobility is poor. I've been trying to work on it for 6 months, but I don't see much improvement. It depends on what you're doing to work on it, Tobias. It depends on what exactly you've been doing daily. Daily squat mobility drills, daily glute activation every single day, foam rolling, using a strap, using a block, doing your yoga, hip mobility, all those things. That's a daily practice. It's not once in a while. So you can follow up with that, Tobias, about your personal what you're doing every day. And if you're not doing it every day, there you go right there. Because your body has to adapt. And that's where this is going is everyone has to take as much stock and as much focus and attention on recovery and mobility as you all do with your strength training. So if you focus all your energy on strength training, your focus and your scheduling, you're writing your workouts out, you're really focused and you go hard in the gym with your strength training. A lot of you do, which is good. That's how you get great results. But your recovery needs to be as focused and hard and bullseye as your strength training. And most people don't put as much effort and focus on the recovery as the strength training. And big surprise, eventually you get hurt or you plateau or you start sliding back because there's no balance there. You're not giving due attention to your body for the recovery aspect. You're not giving your body due attention for that. So it's not going to pay you back. So you're not going to get dividends from that. And that's what's important. You're not getting that. You're not getting the benefit of your fitness completely. You're not getting the full benefit if you're not doing active recovery. That felt good. Eddie Brecht on Facebook. Do you usually and or is it okay to do yoga lift the same day? Yeah, you sure can. I would lift first. And you can do yoga right after. I would usually split it. Yoga is great first thing in the morning. I wouldn't do yoga first and then right after lift. But if you had like an AM and a PM workout, you could do either. Yoga is great first thing in the morning. You can lift after work, or you can lift first thing in the morning and do yoga as like a recovery in the evening. So if you split it up AM and PM, doesn't matter. Don't worry so much about the detail with that. But if you do back to back, I would do weightlifting first. Grace, I am unable to do squats at this time due to my hip replacement. What is the next best thing? Modified, modified squats. What do you mean you can't do squats? You mean you can't stand up? You can't sit down? If you're sitting down and standing up, you can squat. And I want everyone to think about that because a lot of you have parents or people that are losing mobility. You have a hip replacement because there is no next best thing. There's squatting and there's dying. And if you can't squat, you can't stand up out of a chair, you lose your independence, you lose your mobility. So there is no, I can't do squats at this time. You need to do everything in your power to do squats at this time or get back to it as soon as possible. So if you're in a chair and you can stand up, if you mean you can't free squat and you can't go all the way down and all the way up, okay. A lot of people have limited mobility and you have a hip replacement, so your body is going to move differently than a normal person. Not that you're not normal, but you know what I mean. With no hip replacement, and then you just build from there. So sit down in a chair and stand up. Just keep doing that. Do that 10 times. I mean, if you go into physical therapy and they reteach you and they're re-educating your hip, it's going to hurt. Physical therapy hurts. You're breaking through scar tissue. You're reteaching your joint to move. Go with your doctor's recommendations or your therapist's recommendations. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do something that harms you because I don't know all the details, but never lose your mobility. I don't care what anyone says or what any doctor says. Do not lose your mobility. That's your responsibility. And don't forget the medical community and the medical world, they would love for you to lose your mobility because then you need nursing homes, you need medication, you need wheelchairs, you need all these kinds of things and services. And that's where, what do you think business is? What do you think the health industry, health and fitness, my fucking ass, it's health. It's health. And then there's fitness on the side. And there's two parts of fitness, people that actually want to be fit and people that want to sell snake oil and fucking supplements and bullshit and the bodybuilding scene where it's really unhealthy. Stephanie on Stephanie on Facebook. What do you think is the best approach and strategy to get in shape and lose weight? More or less be healthy as a whole, lifting weights and yoga. Lifting weights and yoga. Is it nutrition, weightlifting as well as cardio? It's weightlifting and nutrition, absolutely. Cardio is not as important as everyone thinks it is. You could do it for general heart health, but don't worry about that for weight loss. You need to check out things like my ebook and my nutrition workshop and check out some of these podcasts, Stephanie. because there is no best approach. Everyone's different, but weightlifting and yoga, everyone should be doing. And that's my opinion to the point where I would go out to say borderline fact. You need to be doing some resistance training and yoga. And as Alicia said, Swolenormous X girl. Yeah, those of you that are those of you that are in Swolenormous X, some reps for Swolenormous X, and that's where I have all my programs and nutrition. So it's all video, all my programs and nutrition, swolenormousx.com. The link is in my Facebook. The link is in my Facebook post description. It's also in my Instagram profile. So if any of you are looking to improve your squat, improve your mobility, improve your strength, lose weight, build muscle, everything you want to do is available to you. Swolenormousx.com. It is your wake up call. Yeah, Alicia, preach, scream from the mountaintop. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, Yule, what up? Oh, let's see that. I just switched to low bar squats instead of high bar during my sets. I feel more in my glutes. Yes, that is normal. Yeah, I like low bar squats much better than high bar squats. I either do front squats or I do low bar squats. It's much better on the lower back. It's much better for the glutes. It's much safer. It's much more natural. It's not natural to put pressure up on the upper traps, and most people's upper traps are really fucking tight, and the upper cervical spine is already imbalanced. So that's a very sketchy situation up there. My lower back hurts when I do sit-ups. What to do? Don't do sit-ups anymore. Do planks and core activation. That's on Instagram. Hi, my jabroni friend. Hello. Papa, is it good to drink creatine at 15 years old? I'm going to say no, but I don't think it would hurt you because it's naturally found in foods. But if you're 15 years old, you need to focus on food, being a kid, and just basic lifting weights and health. Let's see what else we got here. YouTube is quiet. What's going on, YouTube? The fuck is going on? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, fam? I'm calling you out. Papa Swole is in the zone right now. Fitness Crew on Facebook. You could say that about every episode. The show's been fire. The show's been fire. I got a lot of good stuff coming. Uh, I got a lot of good stuff coming for the show. Good content. Some good guests coming up in the near future. That's gonna be fun. So when it comes to squat like a squat, as per today's episode, it's Tuesday, and most people do legs on Wednesday. I did legs. I did legs Sunday, and I don't know. I'm gonna be in the car. I'm gonna be in the car for a while this week, so I don't want to do legs. I don't know. I may do legs. I probably won't do it tomorrow because today I'm gonna do back. I want to do arms tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some kind of like total body. We'll see. Or no, maybe I'll do some kind of total body when I'm away. So we'll be doing some swole for the road for one of these days coming up. So just a heads up, there won't be a quadcast for one or two. I think it's like Thursday or Friday. There won't be a quadcast. It'll just be Facebook and maybe Instagram, but Facebook primarily. That one, Facebook is always going to take a top priority for the live cast. Facebook and YouTube, because I just don't want to upload it to YouTube. My knee hurts when I do legs. What do I do? You need to do glute activation and core balance. You need to do yoga. So start practicing that. I hit awareness today. Oh, yeah. Leg day today. Nice, nice. Thoughts on legs, glutes, 2 to 3 days a week. Generally not necessary. I don't think you need to do them 3 days a week. Twice is okay if you split it up differently. Just be careful when you start doing body parts twice a week about the volume. You're not going to take the same exact workout on Thursday and do it again on Friday. It's just too much volume if you're doing like a bodybuilding split. You're going to have to do more of a smaller split. You know, maybe you're doing squats and stuff on one day. The next day you're doing more like lunges or single leg or isolation exercises. You're mixing it up. Uh, but make sure that you are not doing the same heavy volume workout. If you're doing a lot of volume, be careful you're not doing too much volume twice a week. You don't overdo it. Back and biceps today. Yeah. I've never been a small man. Would you say a person's ethnicity has a lot to do with it? I've never been a small man. I have no idea what you're talking about. You've never been a small man from the waist down, or you mean tall, or you mean muscular or strong? Ethnicity? No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. There are fat people, tall people, skinny people of every race. I mean, I'm sure the average height varies, but I don't know. Just Google that one. Just Google that one. Plus, I just fucking don't care. We're all different. We're all the same. We're all different and we're all the same, regardless of ethnicity. But that's a simple Google away. You just Google that, and I'm sure you'll get the average height or body weight. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of fat white people in the United States. That's for damn sure. And Spanish people and black people and Asian. There are a lot of fat Asian people in the United States. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of fat people in the United States. There's a lot of fat people. There's a lot of fat people. You want to know how to easily figure that out? Go to Walmart. We all know that. You want to scope out some fatties? Go to Walmart. Go to Walmart. I love those. What the original meme, right? That was the original meme page? People of Walmart. That's where like memes kind of started with the internet. God, that site was epic. I'm sure it's still there. Just pictures of people that everyone scopes and takes pictures of on the DL of Walmart. God, that was great. That was great when it first came out. That was fire. What is the best food to gain weight? More of it. Boom. There's no best of anything. Stop asking the word best. There's no best. There is no best food. More. I don't care what it is. If you're not gaining weight, you ain't eating enough. Beesh. Different body shape and different body chemistry. Doesn't matter what ethnicity, background you are. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it does to an extent. Maybe maybe on average. Maybe there's an average, but yeah, I mean it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. I just can't speak on it accurately because if I say no and there actually is, I mean, fuck if I know. I'm not an anthropologist or whatever the heck you call it. Zach Perez. It was sad to see so many people let themselves get that way. I know. Walmart and fitness equipment. Walmart keeps on expanding their fitness equipment line. They keep on getting more and more shit, more and more shit. Dude, I couldn't believe the obesity problem until I went out to the hot springs. What causes a man to have a huge hard belly? Almost like a pregnant woman. It looks painful. Yeah, extremely painful. Extremely painful. I don't know if it's just gas or just inflammation or organ size. I don't know what it's. Yeah, it's bad. That's bad. If you're a dude and you actually look pregnant, I'm not talking about having a lot of fat, but that hard, yeah, beer and liver, a lot. Yeah, Abigail on YouTube, yeah, beer liver, but you get that like it looks like a balloon. It's intense how big people get. It's really intense. I mean, there's one thing to have belly fat, actual fat. Okay, it's like jiggly, it's soft, it's covering the abs. You have a gut. We get it. Most people have that. It hangs over their belt and stuff. But then you have the pregnant, and we see that. I see that a lot down here at the beach. You have these Europeans and these French Canadians that come down here and literally just like as if like a cartoon, right? As if like a cartoon, they swallowed a beach ball. They swallowed a beach ball and it's just in their stomach now. There's a beach ball in their fucking stomach, and that's literally how some of these people look. It's insane. It's insane. The Sports Gene. It's a great book. Cool. So if anyone's interested, check out that book. I won't, but you can and tell me what it says. Yo, my boy. What up, Twitch? What up, Twitch? Relatively normal body except for abdomen. Yeah, you have a hepatic issue. And for anyone that's not in the know, that means liver. Yeah. That's a big organ. I don't think people realize how big the liver is, like how big it is. That's a big that's a big boy. The fitness crew got to sign off. Going to walk around Walmart to feel better about my body. You can. Oh, come on. That's why women watch soap operas in the afternoon because it makes them feel better about their own life. That's why they're popular because it makes you. Why do you think people watch Kardashians and shit like that? It's because all their little drama, or, oh my God, it's so fake, or oh my God, it's all this. They go back to their normal life. They feel better about themselves. That's why people do anything to feel better about themselves. You look like Conor McGregor. No, I don't. Everyone always says that. I don't. I have a much longer beard and I have long hair. Why do people say I look like Conor McGregor? I don't see any similarities. What, just the hair color? That's it. I have a full beard. He has like scruff, and I have long hair, and he has no hair. I always get that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm putting it out there. I'm not saying you don't think I do. I don't care. You're entitled to your own opinion, but I get that a lot. I just don't see it. Maybe just like the hair color, like it's blonde. Okay, I look like 10 million people then that have this hair color. Hey, Papa Swolio, what are your thoughts on raisins? Too much sugar. I, I mean, maybe after a workout or before a workout if you need a little pick me up. But yeah, I mean, it's sugar. But there's fiber in raisins. I mean, dates are better. Dates are a power food. Excuse me. The medjool dates, those are great. A little more, they're more expensive, but they're delicious. Just get pitted dates. Dates is one of the most powerful foods you can eat. What do you think about paleo? I don't think much about it. It's fine. I mean, it depends on what you are calling paleo, because a lot of people seem to have a different opinion of paleo when I talk to them. So, what foods exactly can't you eat? You might want to get a little more detailed with that. But how should I say? I mean, paleo is borderline keto, essentially, just more protein and carbs. I shouldn't say it's essentially keto. It's not. It's not at all. But I meant like I meant the premise. I was gonna go one direction. I stopped halfway and I'm like that statement doesn't make any sense. It's the premise of it. So a lot of people get great results with paleo and keto because you're cutting out processed food. So I think I don't want to say a misconception, but I think there's a distraction between is paleo and is keto good, or are people so excited and see great results because the basic fundamental of both of these diets is that you're cutting out a lot of garbage. You're cutting out a lot of fucking garbage. So because you're cutting off a lot of garbage, what's really the benefit? Like what are you really benefiting from with this nutrition plan? Because you're not drinking soda, you're not eating, corn and grains and things like that in either case. You're cutting down on fruit a lot of times with keto and even paleo. You're not eating as many citrus fruits and things like that, more berries and of that nature and more fats. So you're eating a lot more fats with paleo. You're eating quality foods. You're getting rid of inflammatory foods in most cases. So is it that that is the answer or is that good or bad? But a lot of people see great results with both because you're cutting out all these inflammatory foods that will cause fat retention and water retention. So I think it's fine. I think most people have to try things more rather than look for, okay, this is the answer. This is what the answer is. This is what I should do. This is how you get results. Boom, I'll do that. I don't think people realize how much of okay, let me try this and see if this works for me. How simple is that? What do I think about it? What do I think about it? What the fuck do you think about it? What do you think about it? Do I like it? Do you like it? Well, I don't know. I've never tried it. Well, then who the fuck cares what I think? Try it. You tell me. Like if I'm sitting here knocking running, but you run 10 miles a day and you lost 200 pounds, okay, I wouldn't have recommended that at the beginning, but apparently it worked for you and you didn't get hurt yet. Okay, so like who am I to say that that didn't work for you? It did. Obviously, you proved it. Is it a higher risk for most people? Absolutely, but you slipped through the cracks, so it worked for you. You know, there's no real logic behind it other than that. You know, there's things that cause there are things in this fitness world, in this world in general, that are more risk than the possible benefit, right? Like if you do something, that's a very high risk. If I do that, bad things might happen. There's a higher chance of bad things happening. So if you do squats a certain way with bad form, I wouldn't recommend that. Let's say with this, whatever the bad form is, because there's a high risk or much higher risk that you're going to hurt your back. Okay, well, don't do it. But then you see people that have been doing behind the neck pull downs and all these fucking things with terrible form their whole life and they don't have any injuries. And the reason is probably because they've been doing it their whole life the wrong way. So their body has adapted to doing it the wrong way. Believe it or not, like we've talked about before many times, the body is amazing at adapting. So it can adapt to these things. It can adapt to this bad form. It can adapt. The shoulder can open up. The body can change, and you can get a lot of different. You can get a lot of good stuff, or you can get a lot of years out of bad form depending on what you started doing when you were younger. When you first started lifting, let's say you started lifting or training with your dad when you were 11, 12, 13, you've been doing behind the neck pull downs your entire life. Your shoulder joint is going to fuse as you get older and it's going to open up and you're going to have a lot more open space under your acromion, which is kind of like a little finger like bony protrusion on The scapula. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, it's not the clavicle, the scapula. And if you do a lot of overhead stuff when you're growing, when you're hitting puberty and your bones are forming and your joints are forming, if you do more overhead activities, you're likely to have a more open shoulder joint and you're going to be more able to do things overhead when you get older. But if you're playing video games your whole life when you're a kid, right? And you're at a computer and you go to college and you become an accountant and you're typing, 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 and then you go to the gym and someone's telling you to do behind the neck stuff, you don't have that external rotation. You don't have that clearance in the subacromial space. You like that? You like that? How many I got you, I got you. They gave you guys chubs, right? So in that subacromial space, you're not gonna have as much space and you might have more friction rubbing and you might get tendonitis or have more issues and, rotator cuff fraying and all that shit. So, like I said, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the injuries are preventable, but they happen over time. And most people don't realize what kind of time frame that means. It's a long time. When I talk about time frame, it's literally a long time. I'm not saying, "Oh, after 3 weeks of doing the exercise like this." No, I'm talking about after doing things a certain way for 5 years, 10 years. But then it feels like it came out of nowhere and everyone's like, "I don't know what happened. I was doing this exercise." No, you have to look at your entire life. You have to look at your entire habit, your entire existence to see what really is going on, right? What really is going on. Sandy Campbell, I just finished Ignite workout in Swolenormous X. I used to tear my body up when I worked out before. Now I feel like I didn't do enough. I feel like if I don't go balls to the wall, I'm not making progress. It's that mental thing again. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a huge problem with training. That's a huge problem with the high intensity training. That's a huge problem with CrossFit. That's a huge problem with all of these programs is that it's getting into people's heads that if they're not training and bleeding and fucking dying at the end of a workout, that it's not working. And that's not true. That's absolutely not true. And it's causing people to overtrain. It's causing people to do much or too much chronically. And it's hurting people and it will hurt people in the long run. Absolutely. Crystal on Facebook. I've lost 120 pounds in the past 2 years. I'm now passionate about nutrition and training my body. I am transforming my shape and gaining muscle. Thank you for sharing your passion and knowledge and being real. I agree this is an individual journey to discovery. Each person has to find out what works, not one way for all. And that's true as well. So thank you. Thank you so much for the support. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Feel the same. If you don't leave it on the gym floor, then you didn't do well enough. That's like that's that alpha mentality, right? That type A, I need to be like, "Arr, I need to be fucking raging all the time. I had so much stress today. I need to go kickboxing. I need to go kickboxing for 12 fucking hours." No. No, you need fucking yoga and meditation. You got to fucking balance it out. People don't do that. People don't do that. And then guess what? That tension and that stress manifests itself in the body. And eventually you have an injury or a burnout, or you fucking blow an artery and have a heart attack because you're so stressed. I would also add, this is from Crystal again. I would also add, this is a lifestyle, not a quick fix. I have found I have to grow and switch things up because the body learns to adapt. That's right. Adaptation is the main thing the body does. Is it worth paying $100 for a membership at a CrossFit gym? Never doing CrossFit, just wondering if it's worth it. Well, I don't know what CrossFit gym you're going to, but usually they're like $300. And I don't think so. I don't think so personally, but some people would argue me, you know, to the death. Obviously, people that go there or go to a gym. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's a ripoff. I think it's amazingly overpriced for what you get. And a lot of times you get reckless exercise and group exercise. And but other people will see it as well. I get camaraderie, I get a family, I get a community, and I have so much fun. I've lost weight and I've had success. And other people say the same thing, but they've gotten really badly injured. Everyone's got different experiences. So I'm not going to sit here and say that CrossFit doesn't work for people because a lot of people have had success with CrossFit, but there's a high risk of injury and there's just more risk than reward. It depends on what you want. If you want to get better at rope climbing and those things, then you do CrossFit. If you want to get a physique and lose fat and get abs and feel better and have more mobility and live a longer, healthier life, you don't do CrossFit. You don't. You're not a warrior, you're not an athlete, and you're going to wear yourself into the ground. You're going to get hurt. And it's not the best approach to a longevous lifestyle with health and injury prevention. And literally, fam, if you want to see results, you have to have discipline and be consistent. Agreed? I think we'd all agree with that. If you want results, you have to be disciplined and consistent. And if you want to be disciplined and consistent, you have to be healthy. And if you're not healthy and you're getting injured, you can't train. And if you're doing high risk, high impact shit all the time, you're going to get injured and you won't be able to train and you'll fall off track. And that's preventable. And that's preventable. And that's what I think is inexcusable. If it's preventable, you shouldn't be risking it. Don't cause your body damage. Your body has enough stress it has to repair, and you got to get on the right track. Yeah, CrossFit's hella expensive for sure, for sure. But like I said, some people love it, right? I mean, you could have people believe in different religions, people believe in different politics, people believe in different things. There's always someone for everything. Some people like reptiles as pets, some people like cats, dogs. No one's wrong. They just have their own opinion. And this is my opinion. But I think my opinion is open-minded. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Like I literally said the opposite. It does work for some people, but it's the risk that you are running. And yeah, if you're looking to save some money, CrossFit is definitely not the answer. 50 years old and they will regret what they put their bodies through. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I said that a couple episodes ago that in 20 or 30 years or in 20 years, the orthopedic community and physical therapy and training like that, like rehab is going to be exploding from all this high intensity shit. It's going to blow up. There's going to be so much business going around for people that are healing these fucking injuries from doing all this weighted vest and running and snatches and jumping around like fucking assholes. You do both CrossFit and work out at the gym. Okay. But there's just no program there. There's no program design. There's no structure because it's just a general workout or a metcon or whatever, analogy, whatever, what do you fucking call those things? Acronym you want to give. Everything gets it's hit. It's not high intensity interval. It's hit. It's not metabolic conditioning. It's metcon. Fucking Christ. Everything's got to have a fucking nickname or a brand to it now. Everything's got to have like this is that. Everything's got to have a category. Everything's got to be in a box. Yeah. You can do both. Yeah, and so I mean you can do it as like but it's high risk. It's high risk. It depends on why you're doing it. Yeah, you're an ex. I mean, it depends on why you're doing CrossFit. Like why? Like what's your goal? It depends on what your goal is. Military. So there's some functionality with it. There's some chaos, right? There's that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the next thing is going to be. I need to be ready. And that makes sense. Like I think honestly, training, you have to train for what you want or for the job you want. So CrossFit will get you better at CrossFit, but get you better at certain skills. For example, if you're military or emergency services or law enforcement, there's benefit to not just lifting weights, to doing other things that will challenge you because you're going to get a lot of chaos and random stuff. Bodybuilding is very structured. So it depends on if you want aesthetic, physique, health, mobility, if you want for work or for your job or for career. It depends, right? Remember what I said, fam? Tools in your toolbox. Tools in your toolbox. They will be called CrossFit baby boomers. Yeah, maybe. I agree with CrossFit being expensive for no reason. The one near my house is 100 a month versus my gym is 25. Okay, so maybe CrossFits are 100. I'm used to seeing them for 300, but big cities are usually more expensive. Let's see. Thanks for all the motivations, man. You're welcome. Love your live videos. Thank you. Thank you. My wife recently started lifting. She's very fit and conditioned, but doesn't have a lot of muscle. What advice do you have for her as she starts off? Stabilization, core work, yoga, and lifting weights. Don't lift like a girl, lift like a guy. Lift like a man, and she'll build muscle. But start slow. You need stabilization training. You need to make sure that there's the right stabilizers that are working rather than just jumping into like a heavy bodybuilding routine. You have to build up. You have to build up properly. I have a. If you go on my Facebook Messenger, you swipe up the main menu. You can access my free ebook that might give you some insight or answer some questions. that you might have. McGregor, someone else called me someone else called me McGregor on Twitch. I guess I do look like this dude. I don't think so. I don't think so, fam. But anyway, if you're squatting, squat like a fucking squat. So your job today, this week, forever is to squat like a squat. Fuck this quarter squatting shit. The quarter squat, the quarter squat is the new half squat, and we have to change that. Even if it's just one squat at a time, we have to change horrific fucking form. All right. So I send you out there. I send you out there to do so today. And don't sleep. Don't sleep on Swolenormous X because that special offer over 75% off is going on now upon sign up, and that is going to be gone. And you're going to wish you jumped in because you locked down a low monthly rate. I highly recommend checking it out ASAP, swolenormousx.com. Don't sleep on the fam. If you're loving the show, if you love the show and you love the nukes and the content I put out here, imagine what we do behind the scenes. It's fire. And I'm going to get out of here because I have some more content to film for X and I have some more stuff to edit for X. Actually, everything I'm doing today is for X. So a lot of stuff I am working on. So lots of things to look forward to. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. I will see you tomorrow for episode 740. We're out of the 30s already. I'll see you tomorrow for 740 of the most muscular Swolecast, Sleazecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, and Pimpcast in the realm. Because when you want to hit me up, anything you want to ask a Papa Swolio, just hit me up in the DM or on Messenger. Later, YouTube.